I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers. I was kidnapped, and this is the third video, and it'll be the last one. I've got this one to the group Future Monarch of Great Britain. It's part 3 that I'm about to put up. I wanted to... Well, let me just introduce you so that you know where I'm going in case someone hits on this one and not the other two. This is my father, Edward VIII, the real King of England. It was a forced abdication. My dad married my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, sister to American artist Georgia O'Keeffe. And Georgia ended up with Ghost Ranch out in Adik, I believe, next to Santa Fe. And I want to say that a lot of this has to do with Crip, just like I put up a few minutes, or I'm going to. It's on the video I just put up, the second one of the 3 videos. She had Ghost Ranch, and all this has been like cryptic and tying together my identity. I did the book. I was doing the book at Moonraker Apartments in Atlanta about mind control murders. I didn't know my real name at that time. Well, subconsciously I did, and I've been told that, and I know I did. But I was writing about mind control murders. And Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing it and living at Moonraker. Well, Lawrence County is where they took me, and Larry is also, well, it gets too complicated right at the moment. Larry Terry was the son of, how do I say this? He wasn't Irvin Terry. Some Brits switched places and saved my life. And the man in the grave in Cleveland Springs, Alabama, or wherever they buried him, came here to help save my life. He's not the real Irvin Terry, but they had twins. Larry Terry is not his son, but he returned rather than the real Irvin Terry. Okay, and was the father of Rudy and Judy, twins. So you get the input of twins in here too. So I'm going to confuse it, I suppose. But a lot of people paid a price for the crimes committed by this woman, the Jews, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, and by the way, they have the title of Prince and etc. And some of them are in the British Parliament. These people that kidnapped me, control everything, took my father down, a great man, and defamed him and me. You should see what they did to me when I was born over here. Oh, well, not born here. Excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm doing this myself, so I hope you'll pardon me. I was kidnapped at 41. They're planning my kidnapping here. My own Uncle Roosevelt. Isn't that a happy brood there? By the way, if this sounds a little disconnected, it's a life story, but a lot of it is like putting a puzzle together. Like, I thought, well, something's wrong when the 007 came out, and it had Laura Childs, I believe it's spelled Childs, as one of the starring roles in it, 007 Girls, because my last name, married name, was Childers. And by the way, I don't want to say that. This is horrifying, and I'm sorry that their child died in it. The state trooper here, Heidi Childs, at Blacksburg, and her boyfriend, David Metzer. Nobody's ever been held responsible, but then it's the person was programmed. It was done in patterns. But anyway, I'm trying to tell you that the Childs or Childers was used in some of the patterns. And the NASA, that my money, my family's, my country's money, and the German technology and money is the one that built NASA after I was kidnapped and taken to Moulton, Lawrence County. Montgomery's where the capital where the birth certificates. So you've got Montgomery entering into some of the patterns, like don't tune me out. This is all real. Montgomery is where the Virginia Tech shootings happened, mass, and there's a lot. The psychiatrist at Fort Hood shootings, he finished school. He went on and got his psychiatric degree somewhere else, but at Virginia Tech, where the 33 shootings happened. Well, those happened April 16th of 07. This woman was paid to come here. She went before the state and made a speech, went right by me, sailed right by me. I'm the one knowing about the murders being done in patterns. You got people going to her and bowing down, and she had a gala up in D.C. I'm going to leave it at that. One day, maybe she'll be held accountable somehow for what she did to my father and my country and me. Now, this is going to go off in my mom. This is Georgia. I don't have a picture of my mom. Now, I want to get over here because I work for, let me go back to this. In 80, after I'd done the book, had a letter from the FBI, National Security involved, ongoing investigation. Wasn't the book, necessarily. Some of the names in it, and Emory University and Center for Disease Control, was the reason all that happened to me, but ended up across the state line in the condition I was in, trying to pretend nothing had happened because, man, they were trying to kill me. Worked for the DA, Fred Simpson. You get into Simpson as was supposed to marry Wallace Simpson. You get into, I lived at Warren House Apartments while I was working there for a while. And Warren is in the Warren Commission, so there were like clues putting things together. Now then, I want to correct a mistake I just made on the prior video. It's Dr. Willard Irwin, that delivered the twins, and they tried to say later when I was trying to get the birth certificates, because that's the name they gave me, Peggy Dempsey, and Carl Dempsey was murdered, so was Peggy, I found out. But the state of Alabama, Montgomery, that issued the birth certificates to me, just marked which right on the birth certificate, it says it's illegal to change it because it has to be used for your passport and legal. And yet they marked right through it and put a whole different birthday over it because they didn't give me the same birthday as the twins, so it didn't jive. Well, look what they did. So anyway, I got this confused. It's Richard Proctor that I wrote to, and by the way, I went to school with him, and in Moulton, Alabama. They have, believe me, they've always had a post office. And you may not see the connection here, but the one connection is his grandfather was Irwin, like I say, that delivered the twins, Peggy and Carl. And then later on, when I tried to get their birth certificates, because I have to use hers, they marked through the dates and said that Dr. Irwin just got confused or something. This is bull. Anybody knows it. I'd written the letter, but I wanted to correct the error. I just found out that tried to run the video, and it did go up. But Osborne was a district attorney in Moulton, and Richard Proctor's a probate. He's probably a good guy, both of these people are. But the point I'm making here also is that they both, I mean, this has been cryptic, like I said. I can fit it together. I've lived it. But it's enough for anybody to see why on earth would a district attorney and a probate judge whose grandfather was a doctor forever in Moulton and delivered those twins, why are they both sending their letters to be postmarked in Huntsville, Alabama? Now, I don't know if you can see the postmark. I'll try. Here it goes, and this is going to go off. You probably won't be able to see it, but the letters were November the 2nd, and both of them were postmarked in Huntsville. Now, what else was I going to say here? That was the verse, Jack. I wanted to read part of Jack's letter, and now that's, I'm taking this up, but I'm going to go back to Jack. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try to do it all. I put it up